Welcome to Awaken Health Pod. I'm Jen Grogan, Integrative Health Coach with Rekindle Health Coaching here in Central Illinois.
And I'm Shauna Squardell with Inspire Wellness for You in Arizona. Today, our episode is the topic of excuses and why do we make them? So this is really important. I hope you guys tune in and stay with us. We're going to give a bunch of insightful tips. Then we'll upload to YouTube and post on Facebook so you can share, watch on your phone, watch on your computer, and re-listen to it if you find this really helpful to you. But just to go right into it and to dive in, of course, poor diet. I really do think that affects our decision making, excuses, all kinds of areas that we're going to talk about. But we always talk about diet, so I'm not going to, I'll pass on that right now. What I really want to say is we have myelin in our brain, and it builds as we build our patterns or our memories. So if you are used to waking up at 6 a.m. every morning, then you're building a myelin in your brain, so that way it's easier to get up. You can almost do it without an alarm clock. If you try to sleep in, you probably don't sleep in very long. Well, my point in saying that is you can train your brain to stop making excuses. And the best part about that, and what I mean is, so say you're used to making excuses, or maybe you make them and you don't even realize it. Well, once you start training your brain, you're going to rebuild the myelin that's already been set, and then you'll have more myelin in the area of stopping yourself from making these excuses. So then it's, more abundant and beneficial to you. One other aspect, well, two other aspects before Jen goes, is be more positive. A lot of the times we get caught up in ruts or negativity. And so when we're more positive, which I don't think this always comes naturally to the human species, but I definitely think that constantly redirecting yourself, for positive thinking, positive ways out, positive decisions, whatever it is, I think that helps you grow in that area where you're more able to stop making excuses and, focus on your brain health, your cellular health. These are internal parts of our body that we don't really look at, pay attention to, or think about too often sometimes. And it's almost like we're taking advantage of those, vital properties of our human body that help us function so well. And so there's a lot of toxins that we take purposely, or we're all exposed to them in our environments. And the good news is that there are protocols to reduce those toxins. When we get the toxins and metals and chemicals and glyphosate and molds in our body, they will deposit in our brain. And so if we are mindful of that and we get support in the area of helping eliminate some of those toxins, it'll help us feel better, it'll help our brain work better, and then we're more able to stop making excuses. So those are just a couple things I wanted to share before we really get into it.
Thank you. I really like that. Brain health is really important, especially for breaking bad habits. And as health coaches, that's why we have 6-month programs to develop healthy, happy habits, and break the bad ones. I was kind of excited about this topic of excuses because it seems like everyone has them. I'm not trying to be mean. I know at times I can catch myself making some, so I try to be more the go-getter and get it done and question everything that comes to my mind. But excuses are what we do to avoid taking action or responsibility for things that need to be done. And when we're in the realm of excuses, it keeps us from our full potential. It can keep us from growing and experiencing, and we get stuck in our comfort zone. And when we're in our comfort zone, we don't want to reach out because it's the fear of the unknown. That's the huge factor right there, is fear, and there's the fear of change, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of success, fear of making mistakes, and, the unknown. And the most common ones I came up with, like 7, is I don't have the time. I don't have enough money. I'm too old. I don't know how. And I don't feel like it. And I'm not smart enough. Now, some of those I hear a little on repeat throughout my days, especially now that summer breaks here. I got 2 teenage boys. And so sometimes I don't know how. I'm not smart enough. And, it's like excuses, and laziness is part of it. But it's always take the time to understand what is being asked of you. So if you don't have, whatever the excuse is, why? Question the why around that. Because when you can figure out the why, and maybe you don't have the knowledge behind you to back you up, so you have the insecurities and lack of confidence. So I think that if you can grab that understanding and learn through that, you can't really make an excuse in that area anymore, And so having the teenage kids here at home, it's like, I don't want to hear that. We got to rephrase that. Let's dive into why, and let's teach you how to do this. So the next time I don't have to hear, I don't know how to do it. Got a flyer on me. Sorry, it's a bat in the air here. So there's different things that you can do. And I think questioning everything around that excuse. How bad do you want it? So we coach people for, losing weight and feeling better, right? Sometimes they put a resistance up and we're sitting there trying to figure that out. But there's an excuse around why they're not wanting to move. And I think it's the fear of the commitment maybe, or the fear of what if it doesn't work? What if I have to do too much on my part? There's different things. And so as coaches, we have to go in and dig in there to pry out of you, to get you to break free from that, to allow the change to come. And that's a huge thing, is because they're in that comfort zone. They're doing what they're comfortable doing. And then we have to come along and reestablish the thinking patterns and get them educated on certain things for food and why movement's important. And when they get that mindfulness, that's when the light bulb goes off. And that's when the excuses start breaking. And that's where the transformation comes in. And it's so powerful. And it's so exciting to be part of that as their coach. And you probably experience a lot of that too. And so it's, you were saying, it's all in the mindset, and self-talk is huge around excuses. So if we can identify what the excuse is, why we're setting up the boundary of we don't want to do that, I think establishing that different talk to yourself can help and go a really long way.
Yeah.
And I know for me, as starting my own business, fear of failure, but it's facing the fear and doing it anyway, because it's from the failure that you grow from. But if I sat here and, I don't want to do it, I'm in my own little comfort zone, I wouldn't do anything to put myself out there like I have been. And it's just really cool when you can identify what your excuse is around it and just do it anyway. And then you get better and better, and you accomplish more, and you're more productive, and it's just really cool. But there are so many excuses, and we have 24 hours in a day. So you hear that I don't have time. If you're lacking in your priorities of how you're going to do your whole entire day, which we did that podcast on productivity a couple weeks ago, that plays huge into I don't have time, because we do. So sorry, I felt like I went on and on there.
Well, you hit it right on. I was definitely going to talk on the areas of comfort, fear. In regards to the comfort, it's really important because and then fear, that's even more important. We worry, like you said, because of the unknown. But here's a good tip: worry about what's happening, not what might happen. And this is something I struggle with. I work on it myself. I have to redirect myself mentally. But that, God doesn't want us to worry. So you can pray about it as well. But really, there's so much time wasted that we could be spending on the things we want to not make excuses on. There's so much time wasted on dwelling on worrying. And so just focus on what's really happening. I read a book a long time ago, and it said, if it's not going to matter in 6 months, then don't worry about it right now. And so I'll remind myself of that as well. And so have these little mantras to remind yourself, when it's tough and when you're in a rut. So procrastination, I think you mentioned that. Absolutely. There's a lot of reasons for that. Not, making excuses, depression, laziness. Jen, I think that comfort zone, getting out of your comfort zone or not, I think it's almost like the lazy factor too, because I just put this on my list this morning. I was thinking about something and meditating for our podcast, and something happened, and I was just thinking, why people don't do things. And it's like, oh, I don't feel like it, or, oh, I can do it later. Well, that's almost like a lazy factor. And I'm not criticizing anybody. We all have it in us. It's probably human nature. Jen and I are just saying, work beyond that. Push yourself, because again, life is beautiful. There's a big world out there. We all have stresses. We all have pain. But, just redirecting yourself and making the best of the situation, I don't think that's fake. I think that's living life and having more opportunity. And, the unknown, I did mention that, worrying about what could happen is one of my struggles. It goes along with the unknown, and that's one of my struggles. Like you said, as business owners, oh my gosh. I mean, my husband and I have a business, and there's so many risks we take, and it's like a lot goes into it, meetings and conversations and research and collaborating and studying. But, in the end, no one can make any decision for you. And so when you make excuses, say you tell someone, oh, I can't do that because of this reason. Well, the other person moves on. And if you're just still sitting there stuck, you're almost doing it to yourself, So that's really important. And with the comfort zone factor, again, it's so great that we have these like bold areas to discuss today, because when I am hiring somebody new for my other business, I always say, no one wants to do what's hard. We all want to do what's easy. But when you're starting a new business, when you're starting a new job, when you're starting a new relationship, any relationship, even if you're building a relationship with a cousin that you haven't talked to a long time, it's harder in the beginning. You don't know stuff. It takes more time. You have to learn. That's important, because let's see here, because I'm losing my train of thought. But we don't want to do what's hard. We want to do what's easy. But anything that you do and you push through and you get through that transition in the beginning, it will become easier, and you'll build that myelin, and you'll build that new habit, and then you won't make excuses in that area anymore. And then you, as an individual, will transform into the person that you're thriving to become.
Right. A lot of times excuses lead to regret. So if you're putting something off that you really want to do, but you're just going to the wall up, eventually or down the road, something's going to come up and you're going to be like, well, why didn't I do that? Yeah. Why did I make an excuse for that? Because now I wish I would have. So if you just challenge yourself, maybe find an accountability partner to kind of push you along the way, know what you desire and why. Because I think if you can identify the why behind anything of why you want it, it will help you to achieve and to overcome those excuses and just do it. I think that's a good thing. You're right on the whole lazy. I don't feel like it. It's a bad habit. It's easier to avoid than doing. Tomorrow never comes. I mean, you always hear, I'll do it tomorrow. I hear that a lot. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's here, and now you're going to do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow's here again. And and it's like, okay, just do it. It's like, it's not hard.
Accountable is tomorrow we're on you saying, hey, hello.
It don't matter if you're a client or a child, we're going to be that accountability. Why didn't you do it? We need to get this going. Sometimes it's easier to just sit there and let it be the way it is, because it's easier than doing it. And I think that if you just do it, you get it out of the way, you can focus on something else, your day goes more smoothly. No one's nagging on you if you're a kid, because us moms, we want things done. you get the freedom that way and build
My son's gonna laugh at that.
Do what?
My son's gonna laugh at that.
Well, it's true. No, but I just think that if you can build self-trust, trust the process, and know why you're doing it, educate yourself along the way, question the doubts, question the excuses, identify with what might be scaring you, and just, whatever it is, just get out there and do it.
Well,
motivate,
to an extent, we're not saying do every single task that people are wanting of you. That's draining. We're not saying
you help the boundaries.
Yeah. And we're not saying do the list of 150 things that you have. We're not saying do all of everything. Prioritize. Make sure, we were talking earlier and you were talking and it made me think you have to self-reflect, right? You kind of mentioned that and just spoke it differently. But taking the time, prioritizing, self-reflecting. Jen's big on, what can you take off of your list? I'm big on delegating. What can, my husband taught me this, but what can you have someone else do so you have more time to do what you need to be doing? It's efficient. It's cost effective in the end. So prioritize. You don't have to do everything. Just make note of that. But stress, that's another reason we make excuses. You're bogged down, the unknown, negative. Your hormones are out of whack when you're stressed. You're not able to think straight and make the best decisions. And we get that and we deal with that. Jen and I have our ups and downs and highs and lows and ebbs and flows. And I think I actually mentioned that on the last podcast. But, try to resolve the stress. Work on stress management. See, what we're saying here is here are reasons why people make excuses and here are things you can do about it. So that's what this podcast is all about. And our routines. Again, it's just like the comfort zone. I'm sorry I keep saying that, but a lot of people like routines. A lot of people work better off of, being spontaneous. I was always very spontaneous. And as I got married and had kids and was exhausted and did way too much, I'm like, I just need a routine. But as much as I would voice, I want a routine, I just need some consistency. I just need the same thing every day for a while because our life is crazy sometimes. As much as I said I wanted that, the second I got a chance, I didn't want to be in my routine. I was like, let's go here. Let's go do that. What can I work on next? But again, the stress management, taking time to decompress, self-reflect, breathe, just focus on what's important, your balance with your family, your balance with your primary and secondary foods that Jen and I share on. So I think, if you are stressed and it's inhibiting your decision making, figure out a way to resolve that, move forward.
I like that. So, always question how badly do you want it? It's really important if you don't feel like you know enough, no matter what your age, educate yourself, learn, apply it, and go forward with it. I'm too old factor. It could be because you're comparing yourself to the younger ones around you. You're just as capable of doing what they can do.
Absolutely.
Understanding what it is that you need to be doing to get comfortable with that and then go forth with it. Because I think if you're lacking in confidence and so many different excuses, do things that boost your confidence. It doesn't happen overnight. If you can do things that are out of your comfort zone, you will gain confidence and motivate yourself to go forward and try new things and not put the brakes on all the time.
Most of my clients are between about 50 and 70 plus years old. I mean, I've even consulted with people in their 80s. And, there's a lot that goes on. I'm sure you can imagine, Jen, just personally speaking. However, they do amazing. I mean, they outshine, they transform and progress, and their vitality improves. And it's like, I could almost cry watching it. It's incredible and it's inspiring and it's amazing. And I've just seen so much. I mean, I've had women in their late 60s tell me that this is the first time they've found their life's purpose. Mm-hmm. I've had, the weight factor, the cravings, the energy, the sleep, snacking in the middle of the night. I don't think that's healthy. Maybe some people do. I don't. I think it messes up your melatonin and hormone production and your gut health and your digestion and your fasting at night and so many different things. But it's just incredible. And, just seeing people be busy and exercising and going to the gym at that age and food prepping, and they're loving it and they're happy. So like you just mentioned on that, and don't think you're too old, because we can do anything. Our bodies are meant, for so much more than, again, the modern society has a lot of obstacles and roadblocks, but just open up, be mindful, don't be small-minded, don't live in the state of fear. It's not healthy. It holds you back so bad, and then I know someone, the excuses, right? And it's like so difficult to talk to people like that. And I've been just kind of putting a little bit of a coaching twist on people like that, or even on my kids, rather than, the dictating or the reminding or the repeating or the telling. I mean, I know ask, don't tell, but to your kids, you can't always ask them, will you do the dishes? Sometimes it's like, please do the dishes, but the coaching aspect is really important. Helping people get motivated and self-reflect, and instead of telling people what to do. There's different people in the world, right? We have different personalities. Some people love to be told what to do. They need to be told what to do. I don't think that's always beneficial, but there's also the people that we think we'll pull our hair out, right? We probably all have those family members. I know we both do, where we're like, why? But I've been kind of just communicating a little bit differently, and putting the ball in their court and putting them on the spot. And I think maybe the beauty will come from that,
Yes. I mean, we gave a lot of pointers today. I would definitely just encourage, trust yourself more. You're more capable than what you realize in a lot of areas. The excuses shouldn't be made, and they shouldn't stop you from doing what you really want to do. Not enough money. Prioritize and budget, and I think that we can all afford what we want if we view it important enough. And if you can communicate, with your spouse and what you want, and however you guys manage the money or whatever, but make budgets.
Oh yeah.
Prioritize where the funds for certain things that you want to do, and put a time frame for it. And there are financial coaches out there, if you need help in that area. But yeah, I think educate. I know more now than what I did 4 years ago, and it's amazing, and with the learning comes the confidence to be able to go forth and execute creativity and stuff like that, and not be in the negative thinking, but positive, because we want a positive outcome no matter what it is that we want. So it all starts with trusting yourself, talking nice and positive to yourself. You are capable, and you're never too old to do anything.
And as we close, you just mentioned it, time bound. That's so important with goals. Have a start date, have an end date. It helps you. Trust me, it's like the under layer of achieving the goal. So that's really helpful, is making a time bound goal. I was going to say one more thing. Let me think real quick. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a huge fan of personal development. Some people shy away from it. I don't know why. That's them. But I love what you just said, because I love that there's resources. There's, tons of books and videos and articles, so you can always learn and grow. You can grow in any area. Goal making, waking up earlier, business skills, relationship skills, communication skills, parenting. I mean, house cleaning, right? What's the best? How does, the housekeeper get the stove so nice, Oh, I know, if I just pay some attention and figure it out. Anyway, you can learn anything. And I love personal development, and I love growth, and the universe allows us to do that. Use that. There's so many things in life, and there's so many people in life that take advantage of us, But you know what? Do it for yourself. You deserve it. Grow in all areas. And so what we would like you to do is, out of the main points we mentioned today, pick one, focus on it for the coming weeks or coming time, and see what that does for you. Let us know. You can always call Jen or myself, email her or myself. You can post on our Facebook page. We're here if you want to chat. Definitely don't be afraid of that, and don't make excuses for it either, because we just gave you the option and opened up the door for you. So we're going to close. Thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great day.